Party chief's visit to ROC. High hopes for breakthroughs.
U.S. is working on trilateral meeting between Zelensky, Trump, and Putin.
Nahe and races to restore flood-hit schools before new school year.
Hello, so good to see you again in today's news. I'm Hoàng Yên, and here we go, the first step of the show. On August 11, the President of Republic of Korea, Lee Jae-myung, and his spouse just hosted an official welcome ceremony for the General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam Central Committee, Tô Lâm, and his spouse, who are on the 4-day state visit to the East Asian country. The visit is expected to mark a new milestone in the bilateral relation.
At the welcome ceremony, South Korean military played the national anthems of both countries, and 21 cannon salute was fired during the ceremony, showing the high regard for the visit by the Vietnamese party leader, his spouse, and the high-ranking delegation. Tô Lâm is also the first state guest received by South Korea's new administration. This visit takes place at a time when Vietnam-South Korea relations are at their best, especially after the two countries upgraded their relationship to a comprehensive strategic partnership in December 2022. The visit is expected to elevate the bilateral relationship to a new level, more substantive, effective, comprehensive, and long-term, particularly in economics, trade, and investment. South Korea is currently the largest foreign investor and the third largest trading partner of Vietnam.
U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance just confirmed that the United States is working to arrange a trilateral meeting between Ukrainian President Zelensky, U.S. President Donald Trump, and the Russian President Vladimir Putin to find a resolution to the Ukraine conflict.
I think it's ultimately going to come out of this.
Speaking in an interview with Fox News, Vance stated that the U.S. is currently trying to figure out the scheduling and other arrangements for the three leaders to sit down and discuss an end to the conflict in Ukraine. Washington is also pushing for a direct meeting between Putin and Zelensky. However, Vance said that this meeting would not take place before the U.S.-Russia summit on August 15th in Alaska. While acknowledging that a peace agreement may not fully satisfy either side, Vance emphasized that the U.S. is aiming for a solution acceptable to both Kyiv and Moscow. He also stressed that Washington will no longer provide financial support to Ukraine in order to encourage negotiation efforts.
Meanwhile, despite strong international criticism, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu just announced that he would continue the military campaign in the Gaza Strip and unveiled a post-conflict plan for the area.
Good afternoon. Savagery of the October 7th
According to Netanyahu, the current goal is to capture Gaza City to force Hamas to negotiate the release of the remaining 50 hostages. Netanyahu declared that Israel does not want a long-term occupation of Gaza, but to completely eliminate Hamas' influence to establish a new security order controlled by Tel Aviv. The Israeli Prime Minister believes this is the best and fastest way to end the conflict with the Islamic movement Hamas. However, Israel's plan has sparked strong criticism from the international community, with protest erupting in many countries. The United Nations also held an emergency meeting on the situation in Gaza, and several nations have condemned the plan, stating that it seriously violates the Geneva Conventions regarding the responsibilities of occupying powers towards civilians.
Upcoming are some updated news.
Nghệ An province has approved the investment policy for the Vinh Thanh Tui Border Gate Expressway project, which will span about 60 km with a total investment of nearly 24 trillion VND. Construction is expected to start in 2026 and be completed by 2029. This is a key strategic project connecting Nghệ An with Laos and the surrounding region. It will help shorten the travel distance from the border gate to seaports and urban areas, provide a driving force for socio-economy trade, investment, tourism, and enhance regional defense and security.
The government has issued a resolution on visa exemption program to stimulate tourism for citizens of 12 European countries: Belgium, Bulgaria, Croatia, Czech Republic, Hungary, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Poland, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, and Switzerland. The policy will be effective from August 15th, 2025 to August 14th, 2028, allowing visa-free entry to Vietnam for up to 45 days for tourism purposes, regardless of passport type. This relaxed visa policy aims to enhance Vietnam's competitiveness in attracting international tourists.
On August 11th, Nghệ An People's Court began the trial of 37 defendants involved in a large-scale cross-border high-tech fraud ring that operated in Cambodia. The group is accused of appropriating nearly 9 billion VND from Vietnamese citizens. According to the indictment, the defendants worked for companies run by A Tho, a Taiwanese national, and Le Minh Dung, a Vietnamese national, with headquarters in Ba Ve Town, Svay Rieng Province, Cambodia. By posing as government agencies during phone scams, manipulating victims psychologically, the group defrauded 4 victims, stealing nearly 9 billion VND between 2021 and 2023.
With just 3 weeks until the official start of new academic year, schools in flood-hit western region of Nghệ An are still suffering from severe damages. Classrooms and equipment have been swept away or buried under mud. For the past 3 weeks, local authorities, organizations, and the community and education sector have been working urgently to repair the damages so that the children in the heartlands can start school on schedule. More on today's story.
In Muong Zen Commune, floods swept away all tables, chairs, equipment, supplies, and the boarding kitchen for more than 70 students at the Bien Son Wan campus of Ta Kha Kindergarten. The remaining items were buried under mud and completely destroyed.
For our school, this is a huge challenge right before the new school year. The teachers can't sleep well because all of our facilities and teaching tools were swept away by the flood.
At My Li 2 semi-boarding ethnic primary school in Giang Tren village, one of the hardest hit areas, 3 weeks after the flood, classrooms are still in disarray. Road access has been cut off and machinery cannot reach the site, so the property that wasn't swept away by the flood is buried deep in the mud.
Right now, the school is still isolated. Vehicles and machinery can't get in. The government is providing assistance, but it will take at least another week before it arrives at the school.
The historic flood in July severely damaged 40 schools and campuses in the mountainous districts, causing hundreds of billions of VND in losses. Not only were schools destroyed, but thousands of teachers and students in these highland and border communes also lost their homes and belongings.
The recent flood swept away my parents' house, and mine too. Everything was completely destroyed.
In response to the devastation, the Nghệ An Department of Education and Training has urgently carried out recovery measures. Over 3 billion VND has been raised so far to immediately repair school infrastructure, provide replacement equipment, and relocate students to safe school sites to ensure that all students in the flood-affected areas can attend school in the new academic year.
The last story to send it our news today. Thank you so much for your attention. Goodbye for now and see you later.